Hello, welcome to a fresh slice of Celona. This is episode 20, and today we're talking about something that's very exciting for us. I think you'll think it's exciting as well. It is Series C. So, Series C here at Celona is something that you may see in social media, you might see on our website, but we're going straight to the source this time. We're having our guest today, Rajiv Shah, our CEO, co founder at Celona, to give us the real story behind Series C, why, where, and how we're going to get to the next step. But first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about the significance of Series C for Celona. And with that, this is where Rajiv jumps in. So Rajiv, if you don't mind, let's hear about that Series C.
Hi, Greg. Good to be here. And yes, the Series C is indeed an important milestone in this company and quite honestly for the entire market. Because I think this is a very significant round because it reflects the inflection point that the private networks industry is at. I think it's a recognition of how major a trend is private networks now and how disruptive it's going to be for enterprises all around the world. And equally importantly, it's significant for Celona because I think it is a strong validation and recognition of our leadership in this new emerging and fast growing market. So it's an extremely important event for the company, for the industry. And what it leads to is now it gives us the fuel to go expand. We quite honestly, for the last few months, have realized that we need more coverage. We need to be all over the world where we are starting to hear demand for this technology coming in from. We need the reach. We need people to go meet our customers. We need to deploy more networks. We need to do it faster. And I think this gives us the fuel to put the foot on the pedal and go as fast as the market's asking us to.
Great. So there's one more thing that most people like to ask, and right after they hear someone has gone Series C is, okay, where'd they get that money from? So in this case, I believe the investor is Digital Bridge, but with Digital Bridge being a new investor, what made them interested in partnering with Celona?
Yeah, this was an interesting round because as the private networks industry started to really heat up, we got a strong amount of interest to really do be a part of this round. And to us, Digital Bridge was an extraordinarily good choice. They are a company that has got deep-rooted expertise in this industry, both directly and through their portfolio companies. They know the telecom space in and out. They understand the macro trends, what are happening. They understand the entire landscape. And for them to pick us, for us to pick them as a partner, not just as a great advisor in the boardroom, but through their portfolio companies, hopefully to partner in the field to accelerate adoption of this technology, I think it just made a lot of strong mutual sense. I have to add that all of our existing investors continued to maintain their share. In fact, some of them stepped up their share. And I think that was an equally important vote of confidence in what we are doing. And I think it is, and we are blessed. We really are blessed to have an extraordinary set of investors to guide us through this journey, to help us along as we respond to just the crazy growth in this industry.
All right, so that's a great segue. So as you mentioned that there's interest here, there's growth opportunity here. The fact that we are now closed and moving on from Series C means there's something happening in the private 5G market. So maybe you could give us your view of the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what are those recommendations on the good side or even the bad side for enterprises that are thinking about it right now?
Yeah, I do think this is a major inflection point. I think we were at Mobile World Congress about a month back, and it really was an exclamation mark on how critical a juncture this is for private networks and how it's taking off. So I think we are at a fantastic point. I think the good here is there is now increasingly clarity that there is a specific set of use cases, drivers, especially around digital transformation of the enterprise, that's really going to drive the adoption of private networks. I think there is almost unanimous consent of that. I think there is a slowly but steadily a recognition that what worked for the public macro networks will not work for private networks. And I think there is somewhat unanimous consent on that. We see a lot of our bigger potential competitors now start to repeat the messaging that we have been saying for 3 years. So I think we're coming to a good place in that way. Uh, Nothing really bad right now, but I do think there's a lot more education to be done. I think as much as us in this industry now recognize where the need is and how the technology works and what we can do with it, there are millions of organizations out there and billions of people who are still unaware of those nuances. So we have our work cut out in the next few months and quarters to go out, reach them with this clarity, and really expand this market. Um, and the real only ugly part, I would say, is uh, we as an ecosystem sometimes have a way of getting in our own way by complicating things. And I think that's the one message I would request is let's really focus on the end customer. What really matters is what the end customer wants to do with this technology. And if we as an ecosystem can remove friction from that, I think the market's here to take off at an exponential rate and so on. So I think that's really the only part that I sometimes get concerned about when vested interests from vendors and players get in the way of really removing friction for the end customers. So I think it's interesting times. I think we have set ourselves up with some great partners, with some great funding, with some great early adopter customer names, like the Verizon announcement that we did about a month back, to really provide that clarity to the market and provide the leadership and just take our fair share of this growing market.
All right. Well, you heard it first. You heard it from the top. You can say officially now, if someone asks you about Celona, that you heard it straight from the CEO and co-founder Rajiv Shah. You also heard about the customer-centric mentality that exists at Celona. So combine that with the dynamic growth we're seeing, the fact that Series C validates the growth that we see ahead of us, and also that we care about customers and expanding this market greatly. We encourage you to reach out to us, to speak to us, to engage with us. From Rajiv all the way down to me, if you want to reach out at hello@Celona or via our social media networks, we would love to talk to you. In the meantime, read the press release, visit the website, and know that this is just the beginning. So thanks for tuning in to Slice of Celona today, and we look forward to speaking with you in person soon. Bye-bye now.